For my strategic planning interview briefing, I decided to interview Mark Baronato, the executive chef and owner of Allura and Nini's Market. The first question I asked Mark was why he chose the food industry. Mark told me that he has always had a passion for food and working for himself ever since a young age. He went to school at Rutgers Camden where he achieved his business administration and management degree, which allowed him to pursue his goals. Out of college, Mark worked with Trump Entertainment Resorts in order to learn about the hospitality industry. Once he got his feet under him, Mark then opened up his first restaurant called Da Soli, which has since been renamed Allura by Da Soli. He followed up the success of his first restaurant by opening up a deli concept called Nini's Market in 2019. I followed up this question by asking Mark general SWOT analysis questions about both of his locations to better understand the business and his strategic goals. The biggest strength that Allura has to offer is the quality and value of food. They offer a true Italian meal with quality service and affordable pricing along with an ever-changing menu. This lines up with Mark's strategic plan, which I will elaborate on later in the presentation. As for Nini's, the strongest quality of this deli concept market is the convenience. Mark is located in a convenient spot in the center of town and offers ready-made, tasteful food for the average on-the-go consumer. According to Mark, the biggest weakness at both locations as a whole is being a sole proprietor. This raises the difficulty in being able to micromanage each location in order to fulfill Mark's exact vision. Without being able to properly see his vision through, there is more room for errors such as poor service or mistakes in the providing of meals. Along with these issues, Mark has unlimited liability, along with being a sole proprietor, and also limited capital, which leaves him with less opportunity and more risk. Allura's greatest opportunity is expansion. Mark tells me that they tend to overbook in hopes that they can make it work, yet that is no way to do business. Limited space equals limited profits and limited room for growth. So by expanding the restaurant, they would then have the opportunity to increase their profit margins without any issues. When Nini's first opened up, they had difficulties finding employees to work later hours, which was forcing them to close around 5. This was taking away from their potential after-work rush, which the whole Nini's concept has been focused around. By adjusting their hours, they are able to accept more business on a day-to-day basis. Finishing off the basic SWOT analysis questions with the biggest threat at each Allura and Nini's. The biggest threat to Allura is a local Italian restaurant called Toscana. This is Allura's biggest threat because they are one of the few other places in Marlton that offer a true Italian fine dining experience. As for Nini's, the biggest threat in Marlton is the local pizza place right around the corner from Nini's, named Sal's Pizza Works. I was surprised to hear this because of how different I assumed the customer base would be for each store, but after understanding the concept of Nini's, I now realize that Sal's is a huge threat more so on the idea of convenience as opposed to the style of the food establishment, and they take a good number of business away from Nini's as a result. To complete the interview, I asked Mark what his original strategic plan was when opening each Allura and Nini's. At Allura specifically, Mark told me that his strategic plan was to revolve the entire dining experience around the food. His goal is to devote his time as the executive chef into developing creative new ideas for delicious meals, including sides, appetizers, and desserts. He also intends on offering seasonal and specialty dishes in order to keep the menu interesting. Since the opening of Allura, Mark has generated the expected profits and has no intentions on changing his strategic direction, aside from the possible expansion and small dining room updates. For Nini's, Mark's original strategic plan was to engage the customers and provide them with the quick service and exact types of food that they desire. His goal is to use social media in order to connect with them along with promoting his new ideas and sandwich concepts in order to receive immediate feedback. After being open for a bit, Mark has shifted his focus more towards the convenience factor based on his customer reviews. His new goal is to combine the convenience factor along with continuing to engage with his customers in order to reinvent the concept of a deli to a modern fast food service with quality food. In doing so, I believe that Mark will find such much success and will even have the opportunity to bounce ideas off of each of his locations in order to promote the individual success at both Allura and Nini's.